All right, good morning everyone. This is the long-awaited video for the Dasaita head unit right there to work. And please do this at your own discretion. This is my 2012 Platinum with the rear seat entertainment center. Got Moana playing right now for my daughters. I'm gonna close that up. Basically starting this from scratch for everybody. So I have taken everything back to the original head unit, removed all of the wiring harnesses and everything. I have done a few connections to make it go a little quicker. This is the Axxess TOYRSAV harness. These are just the end connections that are supposed to go into the harness on the back of the Dasaita head unit. I've already removed the connectors that they sent that do not work, and I've made my connections as well that are going to go to the appropriate connections, which I'll show you. These are the two adapters or harness plugs that they sent. I've just snipped them off there and to get that ready. I'm going to link everything in this post so that everybody knows exactly what to buy or extra stuff that they need if they haven't already. All right, so here it goes. First thing you'll need to do is pop up your center console here. So we'll do that by opening this up. I kind of got it ready to go already. Just gonna set that out of the way. Pop this little guy. Pop your center dash out here. Some people say to take this one completely off. I don't think you have to because I've done it several times. I just kind of pop it out here from the dash. Just a couple of clips to hold it in, because really all you need to get to is that one for the climate controls, because it's going to slide out. All right, I'll try to adjust this while I work here so that you guys can see everything. You're going to pop your dash lower cigarette lighter dash unit. I've put some USB plugs in there. This one is one that I bought. I'll link it in so you can, those of you guys that like to video game on your head unit, I have not figured that out yet, but I'm going to dive into it soon. It's got some USB plugs. It's a dual USB. And those will go onto one of the harnesses on the back of the head unit. All right, pop your climate control out. Lay it down there. Try not to get it scratched up if you can. You'll see here, I've already removed these 10mm bolts. There's actually 4 of them. One here, kind of back, these two, and then another one back here. Just take your 10mm and do that. So I recommend unplugging your negative terminal while you're doing this. I've done this plenty of times without doing that, so I'm going to do it for this one just for quickness. I'll try to do it as fast as possible so you guys can see and not make this video super long. All right, so pop your head unit out. Sorry, it's a little dusty. See all the connections back here. And again, this is the JBL for the Platinum 2012. So you got a ton of connectors back here. Just start unplugging them all. There you go, completely disconnected. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and put these 4 10mm screws back in, because you're not going to need those for the Dasaita. It does not have them. It kind of uses the clips on the top of the radio, and it also clips into the lower part of your climate control unit right here. So we're going to go down here. We're going to unbox this Dasaita head unit real quick so you guys can see what all you got. All right, so you have your warranty card as well as your instructions that are very vague. Throw those off to the side. Okay, all right, so this first harness right here is the one I was telling you about. This one's going to plug directly into the back of your head unit. It's got the dual USBs there, and that's what you can use to play games with, which I've told. I bought some USB game controllers. Haven't had time to really test them yet. Okay, your next one here, your single USB. This one you might want to pull as close as you can. This is for your wired CarPlay. It's got the purple. Okay. This is the Canbus 5. You can see the part number here. It says 2, but when they describe it on their website for the Toyota with JBL, this is the 5. This is for your Wi-Fi. It's going to plug into the back there. You're going to need this guy. This is going to be your GPS antenna. Okay, here is your aux in. So this is the guy that's going to plug into the Axxess harness. That's what you're going to need to be able to watch videos, as well as your backup camera. Okay, right there. This is your other main harness. This is going to be for subs. If you have an auxiliary sub, and for your front camera if you decide to put one in. Most of this stuff you're probably not going to use. Alright, so please remember I have done this and did have a screen protector on it when I first unboxed it. Okay, you got all of your plugs there. That's where all of these guys are going to go. There's your GPS antenna and then your Wi-Fi antenna. So you can actually run Wi-Fi when you're sitting somewhere that has a hotspot, or if you're going to use your hotspot off of your cell phone. So I'm going to set this back up. We'll start plugging in some harnesses and then put it into the head unit. But one thing we got to do first, go back to our original head unit. We're going to pop these guys off here because you will need them. Okay, those are the two clips that are going to keep it secure in the top. And basically, just going to take them, put them on there. unit here. First things first, Wi-Fi antenna. So I just push this kind of over to the side like that, pretty tight. That's so it's just kind of out of the way whenever you go to push it in back here, because if it's up, your head unit won't slide in all the way. All right, your main Canbus harness here. Gonna plug right in. This is gonna supply all your power, get your JBL amp, all that stuff if you have it. If not, it comes with another harness, which you'll use there. So you can kind of look at them here. It has the diagram, tells you which one goes where. This one's the RCA cable. It's actually A. Put that one in there. USB cable is B. And again, this is your single one, your single USB one that's going to be for your wired CarPlay if you don't use it wirelessly. And some of these you're going to have to kind of run back behind the dash as well. And GPS antenna. And I'll show you where I ran mine real quick. Okay, so what I did, take mine, there's a metal post all the way in the back of your dash back there. And it's got a sticky pad on it, so you just kind of stick it back there. Now it's kind of hard to see, but just run it as far forward in the dash as you can and stick it to something solid. There's some plastic in there, there's some metal brackets. Just run it up there as far as you can. All right, so next, what I did here, this is to run a cable back to your aux input on the back of your console there, if you can see it. I got the wires there. That is for, you have two inputs, right? You have your DVD and then you have your video. So that is for your auxiliary video, and that is how I am able to run video from the head unit if you're not watching a DVD and you want to display it on the back rear seat entertainment. So basically what that's going to do is you're going to take your AV head unit. It's going to have a little power cord. You can run that to whatever USB. I have an extra USB one that I have just kind of stuffed back behind. Turn that guy on. There, you can see it's on. Those things stay on, like when you turn the vehicle off. You have to actually touch them to turn them off. So run that guy back behind the dash. I've already done that. Plug your power in, and you're going to have that set to NTSC. So have it clicked over, and you're going to need some additional adapters to make this work right, because your cable that you're going to run from the back there, the male and the other side is going to have the male, and you're going to run this back up behind your dash. I just bought the 12-foot cord. You can probably get away with a 6-foot cord, but I'm just going to take this additional and tie it up and just kind of hide it under the center console here. So get myself some length to run, kind of stick it down out of the way. And I've already ran that under the center console, and I'll show you where I put it here. So got your center console, So it's ran down along the side, and then it comes up actually through the back where the hinge is for this center console here. So you can see that. Just kind of take that, plug it in. Sorry if I'm a little fidgety with this. I'm trying to hold it with one hand and do it with the other at the same time. So we'll just get this plugged in, and we'll test everything once we're done. And yeah, it's going to be sitting up there, but that's very minimal compared to having to completely take all the wiring down back behind this. If you pop that off and then try to figure out which wires you got to connect to and then splice a bunch of stuff, the more splices you get into, the harder it's going to be. It may get it out of the way, but your connections, you got more connections that you're playing with that could come loose. So I'm gonna get us set back up here. All right, so the other side is your HDMI. So you got your HDMI plug on the back of the Dasaita here, and you're basically just gonna plug that in there. There we go. All right, so you have a plethora of connections here. So we have our Wi-Fi, we got our GPS already done. And try to keep everything as clean as possible because it'll make it easier to stuff back in the dash in just a minute when we're done. So your stereo, probably be the last thing you plug in because it's got the shortest cord, because all these other ones provide you some extra length here. So just kind of hold on to it as you're doing it. And you're just gonna match up the plugs basically. So got all your plugs here. We're just gonna start one. All right, I'm going to show you for the Axxess harness. So it comes with these two plugs here, right? So they would normally plug into this guy and the other plug, right, which would plug into this blue one. Well, that is not the correct harness for that one. It's actually, this is the input from your rear DVD. So you've only got two wires coming in there. Your yellow is the video and the other one is just the ground. So that's where it comes into play with your Axxess harness. Okay. Now it's kind of confusing. For this, it's backwards actually, which I've come to find out. So you have a yellow and a black, which is your actual, goes to the yellow video RCA. So the yellow actually goes into the brown, and the yellow on the black go together. So just kind of plug those in there. You can take those back off because, like I said, you're not going to need them. And then we're going to finish hooking up the rest here. Got a few more connectors, and then we should be good to go to start making this guy work properly. Again, not used, not used. Another connector here. This has its own little stereo plug on the harness. You're not going to need that because you're going to use your big one that's connected to the actual vehicle. That's what's going to plug in the antenna spot here. Okay, but first, for the Axxess harness and the actual video for this, okay, first we'll start. Make sure we got everything kind of out of the way. All right, so a lot of people get confused with the reverse harness, or I'm sorry, the reverse camera, because this is going to plug in right here. That's going to be your reverse, and then basically it's just going to make its own RCA. It says camera video in. Camera video in, you're going to match that up on your same harness that you're going to plug your Axxess into. Make sure you look at the right one. It says camera there. Boom. Now you have actual backup camera that's going to work. Okay. And here's your other harness. You're going to have a bunch of stuff. Just kind of lay that off to the side there. Pop that back on. Okay. We're going to start doing our aux in. You're going to have a lot of stuff going on here, so just kind of stay the course. All right, so we got our aux, our Axxess harness. White's going to go to white. That's going to be your aux end left, aux in to your right, and your video in. There we go. All right, so there's those guys. Just take the wire that you made, run this guy back through, and this, so now you have video coming from this plug here. Like I said, you're just going to splice that in there. You can use whatever connections you want. These are just the wraparounds and then a plug-in. I can't remember the exact name of them. And take this guy, just kind of route it down, because you're going to go to a plug, which I'll show you in just a minute. Pretty easy to get it down through there. All right, we should just be about ready to wrap everything up here. Dash. Start stuffing everything kind of back in and out of the way. Before you go, don't forget your stereo antenna. So, kind of pull that one off to the side. And as you're stuffing everything back, right, because you're not going to have a lot of length on that. And then run your double USB ports back behind as well, because you're going to need those if you decide to use them. Kind of run those down the dash there, out of the way. You should have a pretty good gap there. It's going to run right back behind your AC climate control. And then your other harness, remember the single one, that is for your wired CarPlay. And I'm just going to pull that one right up underneath where the cigarette lighter panel goes, because I don't have a separate plug that I can use for that right at the moment. I know Amazon makes some stuff, and you can go ahead and buy that and try it if you want. And your HDMI AV plugs, we're going to stuff those back there because we're going to run some wire up to those guys as well. Okay, so pop your dash in, or your radio, I'm sorry. All right, the one cable here that's got the wire toward the end of it, remember that is your CarPlay. Put your other ones down. Okay, and this is where I was talking about having the other USB ports there. So I'm just going to plug those into these guys. Fish your air conditioning climate control unit in there. You can that all connected up, and like I said, that's going to plug into the bottom of your head unit. So those two are going to connect together there, like that. So your dash, get that secured. Make sure you have everything down that you're going to need. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, hopefully you can see this a little better. I'm just going to wrap these with some electrical tape to keep those connections from hitting anything, and hopefully it'll help with any interference that you may get. Go ahead and try to start stuffing this back up in here for your cigarette lighter. It's going to be all your outlets. I've got my one Apple CarPlay harness pulled down and out of the way. All right, got that guy put back in there. My Apple CarPlay that I'm just going to let hang out there. All right. So next, you've got your harness here. This is your headphones that are actually in the back of your center console here. So that is the plug that goes to those. So what we did is just tap into those there. Set this right here. So you're going to make sure you're using all of the same side, right? You don't want to tap into the left on one side and then the left on the other side, because that's not going to get you the optimal sound. So the shielded wires, that looks like the ones that have this electrical tape on them, that's your ground for one of them. So we're going to do all the ones on this top, the top row of this harness, okay? Because that's one side. Oh, sorry, let's see it there. So you're going to have your gray, or it's actually like a brownish gray color, and then yellow, and then your top shielded one. Those should all be on the same top row there. That's going to be one side. Those are the ones I chose. You can choose to do the bottom ones. Just make sure you're doing all on the same side. So tap into those. Make sure you got enough length there on your cords. I'm just going to plug them in here. That back down. Keep it kind of down and out of the way. Ready to finish putting your console back in, stamping your dash back together. Let's try this now for your initial startup. Okay, so the Vivid screen is gonna pop up like this. You see it's going to CarPlay there. Okay, so mine automatically set up to go to CarPlay. We'll see if we can get the video aux in. Let's pull our screen down because that's how it's going to come on. All right, there we go. Kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get a better view of it here. All right, so we got Moana playing just like we did in the beginning. It is coming out through the speakers. And that is through the whole vehicle coming out. I'll show you back here. Okay. Hope that was a satisfactory explanation. I'm going to show you YouTube real quick how we can get that playing through the back as well. All right, so I went in and I downloaded the YouTube TV app. I've already got it connected to my Wi-Fi here. So what we have to do is disconnect your CarPlay, because for me, CarPlay likes to override, and I'm sure there's a way to get around it. I just haven't really messed with it that much, but we're going to go into settings. We're going to go into Wi-Fi. We're going to turn our Wi-Fi on. Give it a minute. It's going to connect. All right, we're connected. All right, I've disconnected the Bluetooth on my phone. Now I'm going to go in, turn the Wi-Fi back on. You're going to go into your settings, get your Wi-Fi.
We're here because the ocean told you you're special.
Turn your Wi-Fi on. I'm sorry, I can't. Having trouble showing you guys this, but go back to our home screen. Click on YouTube.
Killing myself so you can prove you're something you're not.
All right, so here is with the Wi-Fi, like I was trying to show you a minute ago. For some reason it was coming out odd. So that's YouTube TV. The main screen. Our video out there. So you can see both of them. There you go. And that sound is coming out through the speakers via our happy help from the headphone connections. So I hope that I've been able to help you guys out, get this thing going. Just when we thought that all the hope was lost, we were able to make it work. Not sure what other years this is going to work on with those same connections. But if you're in doubt, you have a little bit of wiring diagram knowledge, you can go on eBay and purchase one of the wiring diagram manuals for your vehicle. For mine, it was about 50 bucks, 45, 50 bucks with shipping and everything. You just go to the audio section, stereo, and try to trace those wires to their appropriate connections, and you should be able to narrow it down. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. All right, thanks.